Why don't we move into talking a little bit about just comparing and contrasting this, like these next gen consoles, right?
Yeah.
With the previous gen stuff. Because something that you and I have talked about and that we've talked about on the pod is, and we talked about, I think last week was one of our topics, is the difference and the stark difference between launch titles for consoles this generation or this next generation versus last generation, right? We look at last gen, you think Xbox had the more launch titles, right?
Yeah.
In general, which PlayStation did have some, but it was a little bit more bare bones. Whereas you look at this generation, I mean, PlayStation almost has too many launch titles.
Yep.
Compared to Xbox having none that are first party or exclusive.
Sad.
It is sad. So where do you want to start at with this?
Well, let's start with last gen, right? So for
Let's do it.
PlayStation, we had Killzone.
Killzone Shadowfall, correct?
We had
Which apparently is getting a 4K PS5 60 FPS update, by the way.
interesting.
Yeah.
We had for PlayStation Plus, we had Resogun.
Killer
We
App
had-
also has a PS5 upgrade, by the way.
Very good. Contrast, which is very weak, not a great game.
Yeah. No.
Knack? Was that a
Knack.
launch?
That was a launch, yep.
Yeah, Knack. What else? Am I forgetting one?
Those were pretty much the big ones.
Yeah.
And you said, yeah, no, those are the big ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
But even then though, you played Killzone Shadowfall, right?
I did, yeah.
And it was fine.
It was, yeah. I think for me, first of all, it was a bad entryway into, the Killzone franchise because that's the weakest one.
Yeah, and that's
But
weird
it's
because
just fine.
they're like launching a generation and a console with like a game that's like the fourth one, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, it was fine. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It was fine.
And you played Knack. I didn't play either of these.
I did play Knack a little bit. I didn't love Knack. But, when the PS4 launched, it felt like a struggle to kind of find the games. The game that I played the most when the PS4 launched was Resogun.
Yeah, me too.
That game was fucking nuts.
and Call of Duty Ghosts, I think. Launch title. And Battlefield 4. But we're not talking about... We're talking about exclusives here, so... He's dead. Ladies and gentlemen, Call of Duty Ghosts killed him. He's a ghost.
Dude, that game fucking sucks. That is the worst Call of Duty game.
Yeah, I spent a lot of money on that for next gen.
Yeah, sad. But Resogun specifically, I remember us talking a lot about the particle effects in that game were the big thing. And Housemarque is a great studio, but
I think Knack was supposed to show off like the rendering capabilities of the PlayStation 4, and like Resogun was like the particle effects, you know?
yeah. So both did their job, but not full-fledged first-party experiences, I guess.
Nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy. Whereas if you compare it to Xbox One, right, their launch stuff, first of all, the original Xbox One launched with the Kinect, if you remember that.
Wow. I did not remember that.
Kill me.
Yeah. So there was some gimmicky Kinect stuff that they obviously eventually scrapped once Donnie Matrick left.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I mean, fuck you, Don Matrick. You're terrible. Anyway, what were some of the ones? I know Rise, Son of Rome, which ended up being shit. Wait, was The Order 1886 a PS4 launch game or no? It was supposed to be and then ended up not being, right?
Yeah.
Something like that? Yeah. Anyway, sorry. It was an afterthought.
So was Watch Dogs, but that's third party. Yeah, so they had Rise, Son of Rome. You have a list. I don't remember all of them. Dead Rising 3.
I could try. Yeah, Rise, Son of Rome and Dead Rising 3 were the two big ones. Rise specifically for the graphical fidelity. And then, Dead Rising was like gameplay wise and just spawning, rendering
I mean, neither of them were
zombies and stuff.
like great games when you look back. But at least they were like, Dead Rising was pretty
Forza
big.
5.
That was a
launched
big
with,
one.
Xbox, which was big, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Dead Rising's huge. Like that was a nice one. You know what I mean? That's like that's like the third entry and like a really popular. And it was like not a reboot. It was like a different story. It didn't have Frank West in it.
It was
you
a
know?
standalone thing, right?
Yeah.
So the contrast there is that those were three really large titles for the Xbox One that all accomplished very different things for the console, right?
Yep.
Which now we look to the Series X.
Yeah, nothing.
There's no launch games.
Not a single one.
Xbox took all of their eggs and put it in the Halo Infinite basket, and it failed.
And not only that, but they also put all their eggs in the, acquisition of studios basket, which kind of is good for the long run, but it's going to hurt them now.
Right. So they're like we talked about last week. Their selling point for the Series X is Game Pass.
Yep.
Right. This ecosystem, which is great and I love. But this last generation, Xbox was not able to compete with PlayStation as far as first-party exclusives. Even the ones that Xbox did release, in my opinion, were pretty shit compared to previous iterations of them, including both Gears. I did not like Gears 4 or 5. Okay. To be honest with you, they are weak. Gears 4 is definitely fine. Gears 5, didn't like it. Compared to, also Halo 4 and 5. Wow.
Crackdown.
You have all of these iterations of big IPs for them that kind of just fizzled out, that are not great, in my opinion. And you can definitely still feel that. And I know, this generation is going to be different. When Xbox starts hitting these first-party stuff, it's going to be a fucking great time to be a gamer and playing these exclusives on both platforms. And I cannot wait until it's like week after week after week after week. We get a PlayStation exclusive. A couple weeks later, there's an Xbox exclusive. Then we have a big like Cyberpunk type. Like, it's going to be great. Yep. But Xbox is lagging at the beginning. Okay. Compared to PlayStation.
Yeah. And it certainly shows that they're lagging because of PlayStation's launch lineup.
Yeah, which we have gone through at the top of the pod, but I mean, Bug Snacks, Godfall, we just talked about it, I'm forgetting. Miles, Demon Souls, and the Astro's Playroom, which is weird to think about it as like a top tier launch title, but it is, even though it comes with every console. I don't care. I would have paid $70 for that game.
I didn't know that Godfall was an exclusive, but you're right.
It is. It's a third party game, and that's made by Gearbox, aka Child Rape Studios. But listen, I won't get into it much. But Randy Pitchford can suck my asshole. That's all I'm saying.
So wait, Godfall, is it always going to be PlayStation exclusive, or is it like
that? I'm unsure of. I don't know if it's timed, but to me, it seems like right now, like it's just a PlayStation exclusive.
But anyway, what a lineup you have there, You have something for everyone. You have a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Right. A very diverse slate of games that appeal to very different audiences that show off very different strengths of the console. Yeah. And you have games like Godfall, which I forgot about until after the console launched. And I was like, oh, shit, that's right. There's this game Godfall, right? Which they showed. That was like really the PlayStation 5's first announced game. Launch title, and was supposed to be like a showcase for it. And I know it hasn't been reviewed that well, which is not surprising because Gearbox fucking sucks. But it's just, that's why I'm saying like there's almost too many launch games for the PlayStation, because you have some of these huge other games that are just flying under the radar.
That's right.
But there's something for everybody, which is nice. What's up, my fellow human being? Thanks for checking out this video. Did you actually know it's part of a larger podcast called Hapticast? Check it out by clicking somewhere around my head, over here or all over the place. Check out some of our other videos as well. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.